knight, as we previously were looking at, if the knight went to f7 with check, you could win a pawn in that manner. So there is at least a winning configuration of pieces. And if you keep that in mind, then there is a point to playing this out. This isn't just like rook versus rook and nothing else going on. So I am with you on that front, though I do get annoyed for sure when I'm on the worst side. But when I'm on the better side, I'm like, yeah, I have no sympathy for my opponent. You're going to suffer.
Exactly. You do the exact same thing. But right now, looking at what we have and Prag's body language, it looks like Pragg has done and used up every sliver of hope that he has in this endgame. And he realizes that there really isn't something to play for. If we see King F3, it would imply that he's done trying this position. And that would be a draw offer because it's essentially a repetition. But if not, it's kind of hard to see how he plans to continue this position. But you're right, it is true that I would understand my opponent trying to make a winning attempt in this and continuing to play, but it wouldn't stop me from just, thinking that, can you just already offer a draw now?
Although I
you
think
did call me out on it.
Yeah, but I think if we're also being honest with ourselves, I feel like I've had games where I have that mindset and then I lose because I'm thinking about like how annoyed I am, and I lose concentration just that little bit. And that is what chess is all about. You need to be fully focused the entire time, because the moment you start thinking subjectively or about how you want to go eat and your opponent's stopping you from doing that is the moment you actually lose sight of the position and make a mistake. Now, Vincent is confidently bring his king back to f7, back to f6, to g7, to h6. He understands that it's very difficult for him to go wrong as long as he doesn't blunder a knight fork. But I'm going to show that very knight fork that Tanya was just talking about. Is, let's say we get this position and you go king f6, suddenly there's knight e4 check, and you lose the pawn on g5. Your king cannot go to f5, it cannot go to g6. Your king has to take a step back, and then you lose the pawn on g5, and then the white king helps the pawns go on and promote. So that's the one square. It's kind of a mind square. And then f7 if the king is on h6 or f6.
You know what's the other mind square if your king is on f6? Robert, it's all the way back at h7. Even a check from h7, it's just geometry that you need to be aware of, while you're playing. That imagine a king on f6, a check from h7 would also end up winning the g5 pawn. But right now, Vincent says no checks, just king to g7. If white goes in with knight f5, super important to not trade, because in this particular instance, it will land up in a lost king pawn ending because white is in time with the king coming into g4. You can't really pick up either of the pawns. And let's just back up. If after knight f5, all you have to do is move your king back to f7 and you're good to go, or to f6, which also makes a lot more sense. Now we've got a position which we had a couple of moves ago, where once again Vincent has transferred the king to h6. So now the mind square, as you call it, Robert, is f7.
Right. Got to avoid allowing a knight to that square. But if the bishop gets to f7, there could be bishop takes h5. So he goes king to e4.
But bishop g4, bishop g4. Bishop g4 is game over.
Yeah, he knows it. He's just making the draw without offering it exactly. And there, the draw is agreed to. After knight takes g4, king takes h5. The last pawn is gone. So these players split the point at long last. And look at Vincent. He finally allows himself to crack a smile because he's been defending for hours and hours.
He's got reasons to be proud. It wasn't an easy position to be defending for so long. And there we see spectators. And this is what is also the beauty of chess, right? You've got these two young talents who are not even 20. One is 18, one is 17 years old. And then you've got a bunch of spectators across age groups watching them play. Chess truly breaks all barriers.
And these are teenagers, so I wouldn't be surprised if their parents are, out